Hello everybody, welcome to Tokyo Station. This is the first live stream broadcasted on Prism Live in 1080p, which is another app off of the YouTube app, third-party app. I hope this looks good to you, and I'm not sure who's here yet, but I thought I would do a Japan travel update and give you the skinny on December 2022 travel. How you doing, everybody? So yeah, a lot of questions have been coming in from people about how you should travel in Japan over the holidays. Is it any different in the United States? Is there anything that you really need to know? The answer is that there's a couple of things that I might be able to help you with your trip coming here to Japan. This is also the maiden voyage of 1080p live stream. Or in the comments below, I really appreciate that. And I'll be taking a lot of your questions through the chat here, so I appreciate it. We're gonna walk around Tokyo Station because I think this might be the ultimate test of whether or not this works at all. So I could actually switch the perspectives of the live stream and everything else. So I'll go back and review this, but again, let's get, as you all start to come into the live stream here, let's get into some of the things and tips for holiday travel here in Japan. So it's already kind of started. Thanksgiving in the United States is over, so people are in Christmas mind, but ever since Halloween ended, people in Japan have been in Christmas thinking. So that is, that means that you're kind of already late. Does it look? Happy to hear that. Thanks, Brown Daddy. Thanks. So, really have to consider the vast amount of people that will be traveling, especially on the Shinkansen and on at the airports. It's different than in the United States because in Japan, Christmas is not celebrated here in the same way, meaning people are not traveling to their families' houses on Christmas Day. So the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th is not a lot of people traveling about. You don't have to worry about that. The Shinkansen should not be too crowded. On the 27th, 28th of December, that's when Shogatsu starts, and this is when a lot of people start to travel on the Shinkansen to go back to their hometowns for Shogatsu, or Japanese New Year. So my tip is that if you are traveling between December 28th and January 7th, you're going to be up against a lot of travel domestically, especially on the ends of those two. How you doing? Oh, hello. Oh, how you doing?
You for a while.
Oh, great.
Yeah, just arrived Monday.
Oh, welcome to Japan. Do you have any travel advice for people? How was your experience coming into the country on Monday?
You just got to fill out that Visit Japan.
Or just get the app and download that.
Or get online and make sure everything turns green.
Get online and make sure all the paperwork is in.
And then they shuffle you. They shuffle you into different lines.
It goes by pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Pretty quick. I think we got through in maybe 20 minutes.
Oh, what? 20 minutes you got through the airport?
Well, we came in at 5:05 in the morning. So.
Okay, so you came in through, you might not be able to hear because of the microphone. You came in at 5:05 in the morning and you got through in 20 minutes and you're at the hotel like around 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
All right.
There you go. He's got one. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thanks for coming to say hi. He got a You Found Me card. There you go. Boom. So he said that he arrived at 5:05 in the morning on Monday and he got through in 20 minutes. I want to get to that. The arrival at the airport, if you're coming from the United States or any other country, there's some tips that I've been getting from people. I'm going to give that to you in a minute. I just wanted to get through the holiday travel because I couldn't I couldn't schedule this live stream to give everybody a notification, so it might take a minute for everybody to get in here. So what he told me, coming from, I believe he's at San Francisco, is that if you register on the app, this is the second thing I want to tell you. If you register on the app and you're getting the paperwork ready to get into Japan, make sure that you've logged in. As soon as the flight lands, if you can, make sure that you have everything ready as you're exiting the airplane. Before you get up from your seat, make sure you have on everything ready to show. The moment you exit the plane, they start to shuffle you into lines. If you're fumbling around with your smartphone after you exit the plane, you're gonna have a ton of people in front of you and it's gonna take you another 20 to 30 minutes, I heard, for people fumbling with their phones who don't have the paperwork ready the moment they exit the plane. So just a word of advice, Make sure you have the Visit Japan web app with all of the paperwork registered. You have that blue or yellow, whatever color that you have, ready the moment you exit, and you'll be shuffled through and out of the airport in 30 minutes or less. It's basically like a delivery pizza. The speeds at which people are moving through is incredible for me to hear, considering the situation we were just a couple of months ago. So that's all really good. Katayama, not giving out a You Found Me card, ducks. Oh yeah, that's right, I gotta get the ducks. I'm just really happy. This is the first super chat on the platform, and it's kind of neat to see that pop up. It's a different color. So thank you, Katayama. How cool is that? All right, so that's the biggest thing I think with holiday travel. More travelers are gonna be coming into Japan. Make sure you have your app, the paperwork, everything that you need. The second you exit the plane is when they start to shuffle you into lines. Angel Forever 59, thank you. So keep that in mind. This will go on after the holidays as well. So make sure, yeah, you're ready and prepared to enter Japan, and you will be so much more relaxed getting through the process by just holding it up and showing people and getting shuffled right through. Now, if you have kids that are unvaccinated because they just can't be vaccinated, I've heard that they move to another line just for a moment, and then they rejoin you in the line, so not to worry too much. Japan has given this a heck of a lot of thought into this. Yeah, basically like your cattle herded in from one area to the other. But this is way better than entering the United States. If the way that Japan has done it, and it's so surprising, it's so much better than the way the US does it, because the lines never move, they're like hours long, and it's chaos, all right? I'm just lucky that Kanai can go in through me as a Japanese national because she's family, and can go in through the US in like 15, 20 minutes. Whereas the foreigners who are coming as tourists take hours. But Japan is so much better than most of the other countries around the world now. Just take that in consideration, considering where we were a few months ago. If you're getting in and out of the airport in 30 minutes, that's pretty impressive, all right? So you have to give it up for Japan and the efficiency that they have with that, and how they've Raymond Centeno, hey, thank you, and how they've adjusted to travelers again. It's just amazing for me to hear 15 minutes, 20 minutes. People are getting out. One person said they got out in 15 minutes. I had my jaw dropped to the ground. The next thing I want to talk to you and give you some tips about, and if you have any questions specifically, I'm very happy to answer them in this live stream. WRX Turbo is in the house. This feels good to see this, and I don't know if you can see the chat, but it's pretty cool. Can you see the chat here? I don't know. It's hard for me to, I'm just learning this app as we go along. Check this out here. I made Only in Japan Go pop up. All mobile live streaming channel. There it is. Now it's gone. How cool is that? The third tip I want to give you. So the first tip was if you're traveling on Christmas Day here, it's not going to be so crazy like in the United States. It gets crazy around the 27th of December and around the end of the Shogatsu holiday, which is about January 5th, 6th, and 7th. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is kind of crazy. So just keep that in mind. The second tip was when you get off of the airplane, make sure everything is open. All the paperwork, the app, everything is showing. So you could take a look at this in Super Y. How's this? Make sure that everything is out and showing so that you get shuffled into the line the moment you get off the plane. If you don't have everything ready, you're going to have to fumble around with stuff, and it's hard with all the other passengers coming off. The other thing is, the number 3 tip is luggage. This is the biggest question. I did a live stream about a week ago with Leo, and we were talking about oversized baggage on JR trains. And if you have oversized baggage, you're going to have some trouble here. I just want you to understand. I know it's so wide you can see the gimbal. It's really, we don't have this wideness on the YouTube app. By the way, I'm in touch with YouTube, some of the people at the headquarters right now to try to fix some of the issues with the YouTube Go Live section. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I thought I would try this app out to see. Yeah, this is Prism Live. I'm not going to hide the software I use. It's Prism Live with the Docomo signal. All right. I don't have a backpack on me or anything like that. This is just normal. I think maybe because Prism is using HEVC codec, and YouTube is still using MP4 or H.264 because of contractual issues. They can't move to HEVC, but they have tried HEVC on iOS, I've been told. But you probably could tell because the Only in Japan Go streams looked really good then, and now they look really bad on that app. So I'll go back and review the footage of this and see if this is worth it. But I can't schedule the live streams the same way that I know of. So still doing it. Reds, thank you. 1080p. Whoa, it's craziness. So we have that. The oversized baggage is basically what that is if the total dimensions, length, width, and height, or length, width could be depth. If that equals 250 centimeters or 2.5 meters, then it's considered oversized luggage, and you need a special ticket on the Shinkansen, which is in the station behind me. That ticket is free. You can get it from the vending machine if you have a JR Rail Pass. It's not that hard, but you need to have a reservation in order to store your luggage behind the seat. My recommendation is don't bring large size bags. Bring the medium-sized bags that you can fit above. If you have a JR Rail Pass, do not bring oversized bags. It's just hell, all right? It requires so many extra steps, it's just not worth it. Bring medium-sized suitcases that you can fit above your seat, which is so much more convenient. And if you have oversized luggages, it's not the end of the world. It's just really hard to travel, especially during the holidays, and especially if you're coming on those days between December 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, and then January 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. There's a lot of domestic travel going on. No one else is traveling with massive suitcases, and your suitcases are going to get in the way, and it's going to be hard, and you might not even be able to get off at the station on the Shinkansen, if you can believe that. You'll just have to keep going because you can't get all of your bags off in time. That's not an ideal situation. If you're traveling with families, I completely understand. It's a different ball game. But if you're traveling solo or you're a couple, just bring 2 medium-sized suitcases and 2 day packs, and you can go shopping and do the laundry here. It's not that hard, but just travel light. Your jacket, you're wearing everything on the outside. Bring one to wear, bring one to change, and go shopping. That's my advice. But yeah, the color, let me see, can I fix that? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think that the color is really good on this. It could be the white balance is off. Not a lot I can do about the white balance here. I'll try to fix that. This is the first time. Nightbot says that I'm currently on testing out the Prism live stream here. So I appreciate you guys' the support. And I see that the super chats are working and the chat's working. This is all good news. So the fourth tip that I have for you is to exercise patience. Japan right now these are really important tips. Don't ever get angry. The most often misunderstanding is that something you believe people are treating you different, so you think it's racism. And I've seen people get really upset in line or feel like they're being treated in a negative way. It's often the opposite. They're making concessions for you and you just can't see it. And I've seen people get in arguments because they don't want to be treated differently, but sometimes that is the easiest way to avoid confrontation. The way that the Japanese think is different than the way they think in the West. So just exercise patience and give people a little bit extra time in Japan, and typically things will work out for you in your favor. Anytime you get angry or upset, especially in places that's really crowded and stuff, you're the one that's the loser here, because Japanese will just shut down and then no one's going to help you. So the best thing to do is always stay relaxed, calm, and give everybody a little bit extra time and patience at this time of year. This doesn't go just for Japan. This goes like anywhere in the world, including the United States. Just be more patient, and things tend to work out a little bit better because we all feel that frustration. All the other passengers around you probably feel the same frustration. So, that's when the times are the most challenging, that's when I'll flash my smile and try to elevate above it all. And I know that a lot of you who are watching probably would do the same thing, so I don't really have to say that. But in Japan, showing anger and frustration, even if you feel that way, often works against you. The best way is to make people feel guilty, treat them with respect, and they know what they have to do, and you'll end up getting what you want more often if you are classy and you're kind, and people feel guilty and they know that they're doing something wrong. They will fix themselves and saying, no, I'm the bad one here. But if you're the bad one, you'll get nothing. This is coming from years of experience of being the bad one. Just something that I think in the holiday season, you kind of really have to talk about this a little bit, because I understand. Let's turn this on to the mirror. Check this out here. Whoa, that looks really nice. Biggles Poppy's here. John, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Check out the ginkgo trees. They are so pretty over here. K-Spray Dad, when then the selfie mode, the video is flipped. All right, I got it. I can change the setting. The defaults are every time I set it, and close the app, the defaults go back to the way they are. So I'll have to figure a way to configure the app. But these ginkgo trees, I guess Tokyo is one of the last places, because it's a little bit warmer here than other areas of the country, but it is really pretty to see the autumn colors right now. And this tree is not going to be this color when most of you visit. Hey, Bradania! I can't see the stickers though. That's kind of the sad thing here. The super stickers just says super sticker received, Brandania. That's interesting. And King Wong is celebrating 29 months of membership. King, are you here yet? Hopefully I can catch up with you, buddy. I'll be leaving on the Shinkansen tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So I'll try to be there at around 8:30 at Tokyo Station. So if you guys are around Tokyo Station inside, I'll be there at I want to say like 8:45, 9 o'clock. I'll probably do a live stream bento box run tomorrow morning so you can catch me. Ray Ramsey Silent celebrating 29 months of membership. Thank you. Awesome. All right, some other tips for travel during the holiday season. A lot of these trip tips and updates has to do at any time of the year, but I thought it was an important topic to discuss because I keep getting a lot of questions from people, and it's completely understandable. This is the best format for me to respond en masse to people asking the same questions. So when you arrive in Japan, sometimes it's better to take a taxi than it is to ride on public transportation. Japan has some of the best public transportation in the world, but you have to be careful with the type of public transportation that you pick. If you're coming with a family of 4, get a taxi. It's so much easier. They have taxis with bigger trunks. Yeah, it costs a little bit more, but after that long flight, the last thing you want to do is to be on a crowded train or have to deal with your luggage. Especially from Haneda, prices from Haneda into the central Tokyo is about, I don't know, $70, $60, $70, about 7,000 yen. From my house in Chuoku, it's about 5,500 yen. So I live a little bit closer to Haneda because I'm on the river, on the bay side. But if you're going to Shinjuku, it might cost you a couple thousand yen more, but it's so much more relaxing. Buses might be better than trains when you arrive into Japan. Buses, often you can put the luggage underneath the bus and it'll take you straight to your hotel or very close to it where you can get a taxi. Sometimes the monorail is good if you have less bags. There are a lot of places in the stations where there are not ramps. There are not escalators. You have to carry your bags up steps. Just keep that in mind. Although Japan's accessibility has really improved and probably a lot better than most of the stations in the United States, they're still not accessible like a lot of places in Europe. Ramps and escalators and elevators sometimes are a little bit harder to find, especially at older stations. So just keep that in mind. If you're bringing a lot of luggage, taking that taxi will make you feel a lot more relaxed. And then the next day you can start to conserve money. But you might want to bake in that cost to your trip. Save some money elsewhere and then bake in a taxi trip in because it's just so much more comfortable. From Narita to Tokyo, it's about 20,000 yen or what is that, $150, which is a lot, but then again, like I don't know. If you have a family, I cannot imagine riding the train in and after a long flight. It just would be really challenging. The T-Cat is a good option as well. Thank you, DDB. Yeah, 900 yen from Haneda to Suitengumai Station. I often ride the T-Cat to go to Narita. It's a, what is it, 1,800 yen, but if you have a foreign passport, I think they give you a discount. That's a good place as well. So there's lots of buses and there's lots of options. My point is, don't just default on JR and riding the train, because if you're coming in the morning rush hour or you're coming in at the evening rush hour where people are leaving, once you get into the city, it is not fun to be with luggage. It's not something that you want to experience. In the end, you can't get on the train sometimes. You end up getting a taxi anyways, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, love riding the train after flying to carry rates in here. That's totally fine as well. I think if you've got a family or you've got luggage, I just prefer the taxi. Maybe that's just me. Yeah. Here, all right, we got in here, the front lens here. I'm testing out the Prism Live app in 1080p, so if it does look better, I kind of want to hear from you, and maybe I'll keep this format. I just have to find a better way to schedule the live streams to give you a heads up. And I'll be sending this live stream to the team at YouTube for them to examine and see how much better it is. I don't know if they know about Prism Live and the other options, but I can tell you this. They are actively working on AV1, which is a new codec that's better than HEVC. AV1, I don't know if that's going to be something that they release in 2023, but it lowers the amount of bandwidth needed on the servers, so the videos will play faster. A 4K video will be a fraction of the size that it is, and then live streams that are uploaded onto the server, I could use SD size bandwidth to get 4K live streams. So this codec is open source and it's still kind of new, but if they initiate this, this will be the solution for everybody, and we'll have streams that look better than this in even a larger resolution. So I've got my fingers crossed, and I'm very aware of a lot of you who have been pressing my back against the glass. I don't know what's another way to say it, that the stream quality wasn't good enough, and I'm going to keep trying to find ways to improve it, because I love this channel and I want it to be something that is, even for people who pixel peep, to be something that's worth watching in the playback as well. Tomorrow I'm going to Niigata Prefecture. How exciting is that? I'm going out to the country. I don't know if there's going to be snow. There's the post office right there. There's the post office right there. Hey, Jeff Kennedy! Ah, Jeff is here, my buddy. How you doing? I can't wait to see you here in Japan, buddy. Jeff is over there and protecting people in Philadelphia like a superhero. Good friend. So, all in all, I don't think anything has really changed much in Japan for travel. I think it really just depends on you. Traveling in the holidays in Japan is always a little bit challenging because of the domestic travel. For the last 2.5 years, we haven't seen a lot of domestic travel, but it's been on, upticking. And Japanese media, which I keep my third eye on, which is just one eye, both eyes, third eye. They're talking about the triple whammy, the influenza and COVID, and they're scaring people a little bit, but just take precautions and be patient. Try to pick trains that are off peak. Ride your Shinkansen trains in the afternoon or the very early morning, but try to avoid the business rush hours, right? And you should be fine with that. Just practice a little bit extra patience with people, and it's going to be a lot more enjoyable. Take more time. Checking in at the airports, you still want to check in about 3 hours in advance, but for domestic flights, surprisingly, it's like 40 minutes before the flight you could check in, which is crazy considering like all the time needed in the US. 40 minutes before flight you can check in. That's pretty fun. I go through security for domestic flights almost always under 5 minutes. It's pretty fast. Japan's extremely efficient, and if you're coming on a rail pass, that's going to be a lot of fun for you. But if you're going to places like Shikoku, Kyushu, Hokkaido, I would highly recommend possibly flying because of the time that you would save. And it's just sometimes cheaper to do that. So if you book a month or more in advance to Chitose in Sapporo, you can get flights for about 120,000 yen, which is like $85. And it's about like a 95-minute flight or something. So it's quite long. On the Shinkansen, it would take about 5.5 hours to get to Hakodate, about 7.5 hours to get to Sapporo, 8 hours to get to Sapporo, or it's a 90-minute flight. So just wrap your head around that and determine if you want to waste a whole day on the train. Probably some people want to, but I think that flying is something that not a lot of people consider domestically, but maybe it's a good way for you to save more time and get around for the price that they offer for advanced bookings. You can do that pretty easily. And they also have air passes. So sometimes you can fly on the air pass and not use the JR Rail Pass. That might be the better option. For everybody who is getting a Japan Rail Pass, right here on this side. Hello. YouTuber desu. Hi. Hi. Arigatou gozaimasu. This is the, I believe this is the North Tower. And inside of here, they have English-speaking JR Rail Pass attendants who will help you with planning your trip. It's pretty convenient. It can get crowded. I remember in 2019, the line was out the door for help or to book other passes, so you might want to go there in advance. They open up, I believe, at 10 in the morning, and they close around 4 p.m., a little bit early. So you want to get there a little bit to get the help. That's pretty impressive, that zoom lens with the super wide right here. Yeah, if ANA and JAL will have under $100 for domestic flights. It just depends on how early you book. So I think it's 45 days maybe or before or earlier. You can get some pretty amazing deals. The LLC, the low-cost carriers are also available, but the problem with them is luggage costs. If you have any luggage whatsoever, it starts to add up pretty quickly. So if you're flying Peach Airlines or what's the other one here, Jetstar, it can be really cheap, like 6,000 yen to go to Kochi, which is crazy cheap. But then you add on 2,000 yen for each bag. You add on other fees. It ends up being almost about the same as an ANA flight, but you can book an LLC, low-cost carrier, LCC, low-cost LCC. You could book that like a few days before and get a good price, or ANA or JAL, the big carriers, but you have to book well in advance because they're way more popular. Yeah, that's been my experience. I've been flying a lot more. Here's the super wide. I've been flying a lot more. In fact, on January 6th to 8th, I believe, I'm gonna be going to Shimane Prefecture to film a national park. I've got a really amazing episode that I've been setting up for the last couple of months with my friend Dean. Do you guys remember Dean Newcomb? He's gonna be joining me on this episode, and we're gonna film Shimane Prefecture over there. And I'll be flying out there. And they have a unique situation. There's Izumo Airport, which is JAL, that's in Shimane, and then there's the Gegege no Kitaro Yonago Airport, which is ANA, and they're in different prefectures, but they're separated by like 20 kilometers or something like that. They're pretty close together. So that's funny how that area is so segmented. Shimane and Tottori Prefecture hate one another. Well, let's just say hate is a strong word. They don't like one another. They don't like one another very much. So it's weird. It goes back to the politics. There was a politician who was prime minister from Shimane Prefecture, and when a politician becomes prime minister in Japan, they often will favor that prefecture and give a lot of favors and money to them, and that ends up making the neighboring prefectures quite upset. There was this rumor that the highways in Shimane were so wide and so new, and the moment you entered Tottori Prefecture, they got narrow and rickety. And maybe that's not true anymore, but people in Tottori remember that, so there's a lot of resentment. It's a beautiful area. Those two prefectures create what's called the Sanin area, and it's so amazing, but it's really hard to get them to work together. I think they're starting to see the light though. It's just going to take a little bit more time. Hey, TDSDR. Thank you. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you here. That is actually, Nita, that is a really nice bus. Wow. It's so clean. Here's the police bicycles. They got the box on the back for paperwork. You think they'd want faster bicycles, right? With batteries and stuff. So this area of the Marunouchi side of Tokyo Station is also famous for that yellow bus that you see coming. Do you see? That's the Hato bus, and they are back in business with a vengeance. They're so busy right now. Lots and lots of people riding the Hato bus, which is really cool to see because they were suffering with the lack of tourists. I'm glad that they didn't go under. The buses were used to get older people to the mass vaccination sites at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. So they were getting some cash from the government to use the buses for that reasoning. That was kind of interesting to see. Beautiful postal building here. A lot of the old buildings are keeping the exterior the same, and then they're building high-rise buildings in the center of it. That's kind of neat to see. All right, everybody, that kind of does it for me. I kind of hope that a lot of you do start to come to Japan and start putting Japanese itineraries in there. I'm going to be doing Q&A for travel to Japan for memberships now, because we're seeing more and more people, I don't know, fine-tuning into that. People who are following on Patreon, people who are following on YouTube memberships are the ones that want this kind of information. So I'm going to add that in for those people that are there. But if you join me for that, I'll take Q&A maybe once a week and help you plan your trip on that side. So I just want to focus on telling reports and stories from all over the country in glorious 1080p now, which is crazy. So there you go. I'll be on the Patreon again soon doing another Q&A. Thanks everybody on Patreon too, because I did test out this last night in a question and answer, like suddenly. But Peso has been encouraging me to do this and just pull the trigger on it, and here we go. Looks good. I'm actually this app can record a local copy, and I could upload this if there was any connection problems. How good is that? I am resending some more postcards. Oh, today is the last day to get the postcards for the Tori Gate. So if you want to, and you join Patreon, I will send you 2 postcards. Anybody who joins today gets 2 postcards for the price of 1, which is crazy. You probably will be charged for November and December though if you join now. So you'll get 3 postcards. How's that? If somebody signs up right now, I will send you 2 postcards. I'll send you this month's, and then I'll send you this one, which was 2 months ago. This is October's. I'll send you October, November's. If you sign up today, if you're a new member of the Postcard Club, if I see you signed up today, I will send you 2, and then you probably end up getting charged for December, and then I'll send you another one. So there you go. All right, everybody, have a good day. Yeah, it's a special. That's my Black Friday special. There you go. Thanks everybody for watching from Tokyo Station. I hope you enjoyed the 1080p. I'll be back from Niigata Prefecture tomorrow, most likely initially from Tokyo Station, and show you some really beautiful things in an area called Murakami on the Sea of Japan side of Japan, up near Yamagata. That's where I'll be tomorrow for a night, staying at a beautiful ryokan. It's one that I think you're gonna be inspired. I know I will be, and I'll share with you as much as I possibly can here on Only in Japan Go in glorious 1080p. Now that I'm doing it, I don't think I can go back. Can I? No, I don't think so. Mata ne.